right, everybody. Welcome to the brand new show, The Hot Corner, with Giants Sports Talk Live and NorCal Sports Network streaming together, teaming it up every Sunday night. This is the debut. So welcome, guys. Glenn, Eric, Lou.
Let's go, man.
The Hot Corner. We almost called it the Core Four, you know.
Almost.
I'll be Affel.
Like that.
Hey, I could be Romo.
You are Romo. That's it. That's it, man. I'm Affel because I'm kind of goofy and, whatever. But, hey, guys, just want to thank our sponsors of the show. We'll be thanking them throughout this show. We'd like to, NorCal Sports Network, tip our hat to Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group is a sponsor of the show, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Any legal needs you have. Hey, guys, if you need an attorney for a personal injury, or maybe you know somebody that got in an accident, needs an attorney, give Chapman Law Group a call. They're located in Marin. You can reach them at 415-613-9483. Tell them NorCal Sports Network sent you. All right, guys, what do you think tonight? We're going to talk some Giants trades that they'll never make.
That's pretty much what it's going to be. Me and Glenn, and I think you and Lou have been saying the same thing. We would love to see the team do some of this stuff, but man, I don't know. We'll kick it around. It'll be a fun exercise, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, somebody just said. Did somebody just say all my team? Oh, yeah, here it is. All my.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, if you're a 49er fan, Giants fan, and a Warrior fan right now, you're not happy with their inaction. Guys, I don't know. We've talked about it. I know I've been on your show. You've been in here. We've talked about the inaction. I don't understand the mindset of the Giants when you go out and sign Chapman to 6 years and Adames to 7. And you're sitting there with basically a first base that had 12 home runs last year between. I know Wilmer was out, but I just think, why wouldn't you go after a Bregman or a Pete Alonso that's available and just say, hey, we only have a short window with Chapman. Chapman's going to give you 2, maybe 3 more productive seasons. Why waste this year and say we're good with the team if you signed? Like, I would have rather seen him just say, you know what, we'll play Casey Schmidt, who had better minor league numbers than Chapman. He's as good of a third baseman as there is out there defensively. He's not going to hit as much power as Chapman, but he probably hits for a better average. Why wouldn't you just say, we'll save the $25 million and put it into pitching, because that's one of the things that wins us games, pitching and defense. But no, they don't get the pitching. They don't go get the hitting. I just don't understand the mindset. We just watched maybe one of the biggest NBA trades in history go down last night. Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis, 2 teams that are like, okay, we're trading start. Why are the Giants just sitting there? And then they trade Taylor Rogers, and you're thinking, oh, hey, money. They're making room for Bregman or Alonso. No, we're paying half the freight.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And Glenn, go for it. We kind of been talking about this, right? We've been saying, why would you go out there and get Chapman? Why would you go out there and get Adames and then say, close up shop, right, Glenn?
Well, Dan has said it many times over the last probably a year that I've known him. This is an organization that never picks a lane. As soon as I heard that Taylor Rogers was gone, I agree. I thought something, okay, there's a little leverage now. But then I heard on another channel this morning, I wake up to watch their show, and they're talking, getting rid of Rogers is the best thing ever. It's the best thing. And I'm like, they said, you can easily go out and get another relief pitcher. Well, what? Well, who? Why would you, if there's no plan, no agenda, no lane in sight, why don't you just stick with this lane? I don't understand. I just do not understand. Lou said it last week, in total agreement with Lou, that this team falls in love with its players and doesn't want to back off. And then to have Buster go on KMBR last week and say, it's kind of a rough thing making deals because what if he turns out to be good? You can't live in that kind of a mentality, in that bubble where you're always in fear, second guessing. They're second guessing themselves, right, guys?
And you know what? To your point, Glenn, and to what you were saying too, Dan. Here's another thing. This is an issue. I didn't even think about this with Buster Posey. He's so close to these players because he played with these guys. So there's a different relationship with him because now he's the president of baseball operations, and to a certain extent. And I used my military experience for this example. Once you become an NCO, you got to put on a different hat. You can't be hanging out with your buddies. It's just different. You're in a position of authority, and you got to kind of have to put that away, and you got to make decisions based on quote unquote the mission. Now, with Buster Posey, you get elevated to that position. You're going to have to make some hard decisions. I mean, granted, you could still have those relationships, but to an extent, this is a business as well. And to make your priority is to make your club better. And if you're going to hold on to these guys for sentimental reasons, for whatever reason, you ain't going to be getting anything done. You're going to still sit there and stay in the middle. Now, it's a different middle than Farhan, because I think Farhan is he tried to outsmart people. Posey is just in love with people. It's just different. And I think we're seeing the after effects. I really thought that the Giants were going to be able to get a trade in here somewhere, get a couple of free agents and get a trade. And then maybe now you're cooking, you're setting yourself up for success. I don't know what's going on. What about you, Lou?
I've been saying it after the second day after Buster came in. I have no faith in Buster. I have no faith at all. I know he's doing the job for the first time. The Giants announced they were going to cut back so they wouldn't go over the tax. With the Rodgers, they're $26 million under. What are they saving it for? Tell me, what are they saving the $26 million for? What,
Great
the
question.
trade deadline? As I've been saying with Dan, our first 6 weeks of the season is so tough. We open up with Houston and Cincinnati. The Giants, the way I see right now, we're going to be like 12-28 after the first 40 games. And then the season's going to be shot. Now, if you tell me, hey, Lou, we're saving the money for next year, come on. We're not going to get Tucker, and we're not going to get Vlad. So who else is left? Next year is worse than this year, and this year we can do it. I think the problem with the Giants is they're happy being safe. It all starts with Melvin, who I'm not a big fan of. We got him. The Chapman signing, it was safe. How was it safe? As me and Dan spoke last night, imagine if the Giants didn't sign Chapman, right, at the end of the season and got a real free agent, especially the way the market has changed. Yes, we overpaid him for 6 years, but we probably could have got someone like Bregman for only 4 years, And the thing is, the Giants just don't think outside of the box. It's all about being safe. And, being the season ticket holder, I'm so pissed off when you get idiots like Larry Bear saying on the radio, we're going to win 95 games. Has he been dropped so many times on the noodle? How do you expect us to win 95 games? That's 17 more than last year, where our team this year is worse than last year. I don't understand it. Yeah. And then the other thing I'm sick of is you get Susan, Alex, they're all such homers. I don't even listen to KMBR anymore, the commercial leader, because they only say everything positive. But it's like, you guys, do you even go to the games? Do you watch the games? And it's just, gets to a point now, being a fan is, hey, opening day is a tradition. I love opening day. There's nothing better than baseball. But this off season has made me sort of like look at different things beside Giants baseball. It's gotten so crazy, and then the thing with the Giants is Giants baseball. They don't even change their motto after 3 years of 2 losing seasons in a row. Giants baseball, nothing like it. You can't come up with something new. It's why? Right. Because it's safe, and it's just frustrating. Everybody else in our division, everyone says, San Diego, they're in turmoil. We don't know that yet. The ownership is in turmoil, but Correct. They still have a great team. Arizona's got a great team. And all we're doing right now is staring at the Dodgers, the big, unbelievable Dodgers. And the thing is about the Giants, The Dodgers spend money thinking 3, 5, 7 years down the line that Dan always tells me. They thinking of the future. The Giants are just trying to get by to the All-Star break, and that's the difference.
Lou, don't look at the Dodgers. Holy crap. Imagine. Larry Bear found out you were looking at the Dodgers. It's not good. I can't believe he said that the other day. If you want to be the best, you got to play with the best. I mean, they have failed. They have failed in every application. They haven't. Eric and I were stressing pitching and defense. I don't see the pitching. They added one player to the roster.
Don't get me started.
What?
Yep. How about the left side? You don't have a first baseman or a second baseman.
What has changed? What am I looking at this year that wasn't there last year? You can say it, Dom.
That's it.
But it's the same. It's the same product. And last year's was crap. There were no make memories. There's no memories. I'd rather forget.
Yeah. It is tough to stand by and watch when you consider this. The San Francisco Giants have been in San Francisco since 1958. They have made the playoffs in consecutive seasons one time.
That's pretty incredible.
2002, 2003. That's
terrific. You think you show up, you're going to do that. At least more.
And the Dodgers have been to 12 straight playoffs. Every team in baseball has done it more than one. The only team that hasn't done consecutive winning seasons is the Miami Marlins. And they haven't been in existence, but since 93? So they're just over 30, 31, 32 years old. The Giants are 67 years old. And yes, they've gone to the playoffs multiple times, but they have had dry spells from 72 to 86, no playoffs. From 63, they went to the World Series in 62. 63 to 60 to 70, no playoffs. They didn't win the National League. So they were a winning team in the 60s, but they kept finishing second.
Right.
They kept finishing second to either the Dodgers or St. Louis or somebody like that, and they couldn't get over the hump. They finished second or third, and it was like 8-10 teams, and whoever won the league went to the World Series. But 72 to 86, no playoffs, and then you can go 87 playoffs, 89 playoffs. Next playoffs was 97. Then 2000, and then 2002 and 3, and then it was 10, 12, 14, 16, and 21. That's it.
21. That's it. Okay. I tell you, well, let's talk about this title of the show, right? Should the Giants trade for a superstar to compete? What do you think? I mean, Dan, we got some people on the thumbnail. I saw, was that Yordan Alvarez? Did I see?
Yeah, it was Yordan Alvarez.
Alvarez. You got Vlad Jr. And then what was it? Who was the other guy? Was it Luis Robert? I can't remember.
No, it wasn't Robert. It was
hold on. Tatis.
Oh yeah, Tatis. Yeah.
Oh man.
Just trying to put stuff together. I did a little video the other day on Tatis, because Harold Reynolds said that he thinks San Diego should trade him and rebuild. So my deal is, if you look at the trade machine, Eric, the Giants don't have anything to get one of these superstars. They have to include Webb without including Eldridge. And I would rather trade Webb than Eldridge, because Eldridge is 20. And whether he's unproven or not in the major leagues, I'll take a shot that he's going to be good. And if he is good, you've got him for 10, 12 great years, 21 through 32, 33. Man.
So here we go. Let's get the brass tacks here. Let's start with Vlad. What do you think it would take? Oh, well, here's a better question. Would you have Eldridge available to trade for Vlad?
No, because he's on a
because of 1 year.
1 year.
But what if he says, what if the Giants say we'll bust off 500 and he says okay? I'm putting a little stipulations on it. I know because this guy's proven. He's 25 years old.
It's proven. Yeah.
Proven. I mean, it's those are tough decisions. Again, I don't know. I don't see the
that's
Giants
tough.
doing that.
I mean, when I heard Jim Callis the other day say that Eldridge is 40 home run power,
right?
And I just think, man, the Giants could just build around this guy. If you could get some other guys, if you can somehow see, and I beat this into the ground, and I'm not going to do it much tonight. I'll just say it real quickly. I would change the dimensions for Eldridge, because if you brought in the fences for him, right? Yeah, just right center. Just get rid of that triples alley. Bring it in. Eldridge hits 40 plus bombs. He's rookie of the year. He's MVP. That's going to attract people to come want to play with a young kid like that. And if the ballpark is not an issue, you're not going to have a problem attracting left-handed power hitting stars. But right now, you're never going to get one. You're never going to get one to come. Forget it.
That's why you got to trade, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Only in a trade. You'll never get a free agent to come that's a left-handed power hitter. I think that's why Buster probably didn't even try with Soto. It's just
right.
So I don't know. What do you guys think? I would trade for any one of those guys with the right deal. I don't think you have to give up Eldridge.
I don't think you have to either
to get Vladdy. I really don't.
Okay. Let me ask Glenn. Who would you give up to get Vlad?
Most of these teams that are working or trying to work out deals, so they say in the media, with the Giants, they seem to have at least two of our prospects. If you took Eldridge off the table, I'd give up anybody. First and foremost would be Carson Wisenhunt. I'd give up Carson Wisenhunt. If you've got to start working with a pitcher and trying to develop his arsenal, he's a one pitch pitcher.
Right now he is.
So
Skater's trolling you, Eric.
I would give them. I'd give him anybody. You're looking at guaranteed star power if you get Vladimir Guerrero. Correct. However, I think that the upside, if you get a generational player, you can't just give up players to give them up to get somebody good and think you're doing a great job. I'd rather stick with Eldridge.
Stick with Eldridge. So you give up.
I would give up anybody else. Even these guys, I don't know how Lou and Dan feel, but these guys that we consider are bench players, the players who are on our roster now, some of those could go too. McRae would be my first guy out the door. Wisenhunt, I have no problem.
McRae could be a trade piece. There's no, I mean, you put a package together. Yeah, that's where you're going to have to get, right? To get Vlad, it doesn't stop at Wisenhunt. You're going to have to add, Bryce Eldridge, or not Bryce, Kyle Harrison. He's another guy. I've been saying it for a long time.
But like you and I have said on our show countless times, Eric, I don't think the phone rings off the hook. You say, "Oh, you call these teams." I don't think we've got what they want. Everybody in our chat loves to make these deals, Dan. They come up with 101 ideas.
Of course.
But when you look at it, I go, "Oh, so you want to get a good player and give it, and you think everybody wants our junk?" It's not the way it works. Let's give them Yaz and Lamont Wade and get Vladdy. I'm like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dan? To get Vlad, it's going to take.
I think you can get Vlad with probably somebody like Harrison and a minor leaguer. I think Harrison is got like if you look at the trade machine, it's you're giving up more than what Vlad's, if I recall right. But I would say Vlad and somebody like, I don't know, Dakota Jordan or something like that,
Well, yeah, there he. I think he's in the top 5, right? Yeah. There he is. There he is. Top. He's number 4, and that's probably what they're going to be looking at, right? Any club, if you're going to trade for a Tatis, a Vlad, or a Alvarez, this is what they're looking at. They're looking at your top 5, and you're probably going to have to give up a couple of them. I guess that was the news, right, Dan? For Luis Robert, that's what the White Sox were asking for.
They wanted 2 top 5, but Roberts has a couple years of team control after. You're getting 3 years of control with Robert. You're getting 1 year. I don't think Vlad gets dealt until the deadline.
And
I think it's a deadline deal if Toronto's not in it. But Toronto might be in it, and especially if they sign Pete Alonso. If Toronto gets Pete Alonso, I think Toronto's going to be going for it because they have what? They got Santander, and didn't they get a couple of pitchers too? Like a reliever, Hoffman?
That's right. They got Hoffman from Philly.
The reliever.
And they got somebody else the other day, I thought they got somebody else, but I'm not.
Oh, Scherzer.
Scherzer. Yeah. I don't know how much that moves the needle, but by the way, guys, while we're talking pitching, just to go real quick, a couple hours ago, Jack Flaherty re-signed with the Tigers as a free agent. You know, it's funny because a couple weeks ago I did a baseball projections of where these guys would sign. That's one I got right. I actually thought Flaherty. Nice. I said Flaherty to Detroit makes sense. And why didn't the Giants sign him? He didn't have a qualifying offer.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have to give up any draft picks or international money. Why not get more pitching? We see teams like the Dodgers have like 1,900 pitchers on their staff.
Yes.
The Giants they got 6 because now they got Justin Verlander. Now they got Jordan Hicks and the odd man, one of either Hicks or Birdsong's.
Right.
And that's enough. And that's
no,
enough.
It's not. I know. It doesn't make sense, man. I don't understand it. And you got Buster Posey out there, kind of hard. I'm a kind of piggyback on Lou talking about whether or not Buster is up for this challenge. Why would you sit there talking about you have faith in your young arms, but there's going to be one young arm in the rotation. Looks like it's Birdsong, the guy. He's on the outside looking in, right? That's what it's looking like. It's like, why put Hicks in the freaking bullpen? And you got a 3-headed monster in your bullpen. You shorten the game. I don't get it.
You got to shorten the game, especially when your pitching is not that great. So I see Skater's comment. He says Flaherty stinks, but I don't think he's as bad. He's going to have some bad outings, but every pitcher is. But he can eat up innings. The Giants need guys that can go out there and throw 5-6 innings a game. They can't get pitchers that get her knocked out by the 4th inning constantly. That's a recipe. What we've seen the last couple of years, the bullpen come August, they just peter out and they're done. And they fold like a tent in the second half.
Hey, it looks like a Tariq Skubal likes Jack Flaherty. This is a quote from Tariq. If there's a guy I want on the mound that's not me, I want him, talking about Jack Flaherty. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe he isn't a clubhouse issue. Maybe he's just, quote unquote, a red ass. You know, Bumgarner was a red ass, and we all loved him, right? No one likes him, skaters, right? Right? Hey, Greg, Tariq Skubal likes him. He was a teammate of his. Looks like he likes him. Just saying.
Yeah, I think Skubal understands pitching a little more than us for. Plus,
absolutely. Absolutely.
One thing the LA Dodgers do, guys, is they go out and people talk about Flaherty. We don't want him. We don't want him. We don't want him. And you know what? A lot of it comes with all our fans want us to get these guys with cachet and kind of sexy trades. And you know what? The LA Dodgers, they go out and get the stars, but all of their understudies are guys who get the job done. Enough with, we can't use a Flaherty. Yes, we could. Yes, we could.
Could have.
I'm looking at our pitching staff, and oh my God, this could be a disaster this year.
It could.
What does Lou and Dan think? We've been on our rant about signing 42-year-old pitchers. What's the upside? And a lot of people in our chat have said, well, you know, he's going to be able to take the young pitchers under his wing and teach them. I'm like, well, then pay more and get a better pitching coach, because the pitching coach won't use up a spot on your roster.
Dan, do you want me
Lou,
to go?
I'll let you take it. Go ahead, Lou. Go ahead.
Let me tell you something. First of all, the Giants right now only have one lefty in their bullpen. One.
Yep.
So that's
correct.
got disaster written all over it.
Yes.
Okay. Absolutely. And I want to answer because Dan was sort
Lou?
of tough.
Lou?
Yes, sir.
That's one on the 40-man roster.
Yeah, 40-man roster. Yeah. Well, we have so much in the minors. I believe we probably have somebody that's hidden Getting back to Vlad, it's very simple. In the last 20 years, with the Giants farm system and all the BS that comes out, oh, this guy's good. Except for Buster, can you guys name me one guy in the minors that came up that was good? And I only think of one guy in 20 years of all the BS. Oh, this guy's a new talent. This guy's a new talent. And that was Zach Wheeler. Beside him, can you guys name me one guy? So why in the hell do I think Eldridge is going to be some superstar? Are you telling me that if we got a chance to get Vlad and he'll sign an extension, we would keep a kid that's never been in the minor leagues, never been in the major leagues for someone like Vlad? You know, I think the biggest problem is, and I've noticed on Dan's show, Giants fans are lost. They're idiots sometimes. They live in the past. I don't care about championships that happened 10, 12, and 14, okay? That was a decade ago. The Giants, except for 2021, since 2016, have only had one winning second half part of the season. One. That's a disgrace. All right? Right now, going into this year, the Oakland A's, who are playing in Sacramento in a minor league park, are more exciting than us. That's a disgrace, okay? We are the fifth biggest market, and we have more question marks this year with Buster in charge than we did when Farhan was in charge. People should be pissed off like I am because 2021 was a complete fluke. It'll never, ever happen again. Every single person had a magical year. But guess what happened? We didn't even get out of the first round. So who cares? You know, it's one of these things. This Bay Area fans, we were spoiled. Same thing with Niner fans. Oh, next year will be good. No, you guys got to face it. The people in charge and the personnel we have is not that good, you know? And I just wish they would admit, hey, guys, we're going to rebuild. It's going to be probably 3 or 4 years. Other teams in the American League are doing it. You know, I mean, Baltimore had a couple bad years. People forget the Houston Astros, when Matt Cain pitched the perfect game, only won 60 games that year. They were rebuilding, and then they got draft picks. That's the other thing is our draft picks and the people we select, I hope Eldridge is good, right? But knowing the Giants, something's going to happen. He'll pull a groin. His defense is bad. We're putting all the chips in. And you got to remember, Farhan really trying to save his job. He rushed him last year. He went from AA. He played what?
Yes, he absolutely did.
6 weeks? No, I mean, maybe it was 13 games in AAA. And it was the very end of the season. So you don't know who was called up or down. We don't know. Take time with this guy. But I'm a little upset if we're going to spend money and we have a great third baseman, a great shortstop. How in the hell do we not have a goddamn first baseman? Flores? Come on. Flores should have been DFA'd. He came back last year. He's been a disaster. He's too old. Late night Lamont, he was great getting on, but he doesn't hit in the clutch. He's another horrible first baseman. And then we don't even have a second baseman. A rookie last year who wasn't even on the opening day roster is our second baseman all of a sudden. How can you do that when half your infield, you're not sure what you're getting? You know, it's like, and the other thing too is designated hitters came in the National League, 9 years ago. The Giants haven't had one DH that's been good. One. You know, we got guys like, I don't want William Flores as our DH. You know, we had what's his name who went to Arizona, and then we gave him the $19 million contract. Yeah, Jock. That's probably the closest thing we've had. But nobody else. I mean, is it that hard? You know we need sticks, Buster. You have $26 million. Make me excited to be a Giants fan instead of just someone that's going to, I don't mean to keep complaining, but, you know, I'm more excited about seeing visiting teams this year at Oracle Park than the Giants.
And, you know, this begs the question, and I've told Glenn this about this too. We got to put onus on the ownership. Maybe the ownership doesn't want to go to the CBT. Maybe they're just happy where they're at.
Safe.
That's
safe.
It's right.
Safe.
And that's again, and I've been saying this for a while now. Maybe we need a new principal owner. Someone who wants to go out there and win.
Oh, yeah.
Someone who cares about the game of baseball and wants to compete rather than just using it as a portfolio. You know, saying, come on. Right.
And then, Eric, you remember the Dodgers 7 years ago had an owner who was cutting. The Dodgers weren't doing well. He had to get out because of a divorce. They got new owners now.
Well, that was
They got a
13,
great
I think.
TV contract. Yeah, was it that long? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's been about
and
10.
now they have a machine, right?
They do.
San Diego, they have a GM that does whatever they can. Arizona's better. You know, you got to remember, it's just a matter of time where Colorado's got a bunch of young studs. We're going to be in the cellar looking up.
Mhm.
It's going to be like how it was, you know, in the 70s. And these ownership, they just don't care. It's all about real estate and making their, 4 or 5% profit. It's embarrassing. You know, I mean, opening days last year didn't even sell out. When was the last time you remember opening day
That's
for the
crazy.
Giants? You know,
What
and
did
you
I
could
tell you
get
last
tickets
night,
the
Eric?
day of.
I told you last night, Eric. I said opening day. If you follow those teams that just they're not going to be winning organizations, and I still question. I don't think we'll play 500. I said to you, it'll be great opening day, the big crowd, the sun will be shining, and by Monday, it'll be 13,000 people at the game.
Yeah, Eric, it's going to be like how it was at the Stick. 11,900 are the real Giants fans at Candlestick. You know, on the weekends, they would fill up if they're doing it, but that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And,
every Monday and Tuesday last year when I was there, horrific.
And it's gotten to the point now where, Glenn, I know this is the first time we've spoken, but Eric and Dan know they're down below 7,100 season ticket holders. It's gotten so bad that you probably didn't notice, but if you go on the Giants website, the visitors dugout, I showed to Dan, they lost their season ticket holders, so they have 4 rows of 4 on the visitors dugout. Front row, second row, third row, fourth row for visitors dugout because teams want to see the visiting teams, not the Giants. I mean, and then you ask, what can the Giants do? They still give season ticket holders, the 25% off. Right. This year, Glenn, you'll like this. This is big. You ready? Guess what happens if you have clubs? I mean, the first 5 rows. What is that called for the Giants? The seats. A field club. Guess what you get if you have field club seats?
I'm tingling.
You check in, you get a free voucher for a cocktail. That's what they're doing. You get a free cocktail when I check in.
Yeah, that makes no sense. But that makes no sense. We were able to buy $30 tickets, 2 for $30. Get this, Lou. They paid us to go to the game. Bernice and I had tickets last year, 2 for $30, and we each got $17 in either beer, hot dog. We went over 17.
The right field seats you get it. It's ridiculous. The Giants right now, this year it's gotten so bad they've run out of things to give. Right, giveaway. So last year they had 3 Hawaiian shirts. This year they're doing a Stephen Curry bobblehead. But the best is, as Dan knows, when the Dodgers come to town, they have giveaways and they're doing fireworks because they know the place will be full.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you doing a giveaway when the Dodgers are in town for a promotion?
You don't need to. It's full.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
The problem that they're doing that blows me away is they're actually doing Barry Bonds bobblehead against the Dodgers. Now,
the Dodgers.
We got a lot of Dodger fans watching both these channels right now.
Yes.
Can you not tell me if Dodger fans invade Oracle Park and there's 42,000 people there and 28 or 30 of them are Dodger fans and they're handing out Barry Bonds bobbleheads, how many bobbleheads are going to be decapitated that night?
And on the field.
And just like laying around all over, and then the game ends, they'll be all on the field. I could see it. Like, I mean, if the Giants in their heyday were winning World Series, we owned Dodger Stadium for a while. When the Giants went on the road in the 2012
San Diego
13 season, we were down. Giants fans were in droves there. I mean, if they had a bobblehead night there, let's say for Ron Say, would Giants fans not rip that off the head? Come on. I
agree with Lou. If I'm the head of the marketing department for the San Francisco Giants, I'm going in, we're having our staff meeting, and I'm saying, all right, if the Yankees come to town, or the Dodgers come to town, or San Diego come to town, for the most part, those 3 at least. Don't worry about promotions. We better have one hell of a promotion when the White Sox come to town. The Marlins come to town. The Pirates come to town. Why? Because you got to fill the empty seats. The promotion isn't about, oh, here, we love you so much. Have another freaking Hawaiian shirt that rubs my nipples like they're made out of sandpaper. And you wear them once and they either rip or they don't fit to begin with. How come I'm a season ticket holder, guys, and I go into a Hawaiian shirt date, which I really don't give a fiddler's freak about, but I go in and they're like, all we have is smalls and mediums. I'm like, well,
yeah, for newborns and midgets.
Well, I'm gonna walk in, and what do I say? You want to screw me over?
And Glenn, I don't understand it. When you
they haven't even called us about season tickets this year, and we already decided we're not going. We didn't. Yeah. Doesn't it piss you off, Lou? If we were season ticket holders,
here's my big thing.
But yet I can go to games for $5 freaking dollars.
Yeah, last year I told Dan April 1st they did the 501 deal, and I had to pay all my tickets in October. I'll tell you the other thing is they get these big promotions, right? Like the Hawaiian shirts, and it's sponsored by Chevron, $1 billion company. Why in the hell do they only do the first 12,000? There's 40,000. Get a sponsor that's going to give everybody a shirt, or don't have them as a sponsor. Are we that bleeping cheap? But yeah, the giveaways, and then the other thing too is this year the Giants are very lucky they have the Dodgers on 2 weekends, right? Very lucky. But, they have a thing this year on the tickets. It's, better games. You got to pay more. And they still consider the A's a big game. So I got to pay $337 to see the A's. A's aren't a big team. They do it where, it's the Bay Bridge. They're not the Bay Bridge anymore, but they still have it. And they don't do price dynamics anymore. They just come up with strange things. And as Eric knows, and, Glenn, you might not know, the person in charge of promotion, I was at a place out on Gary Street called Tommy's Mexican, and I was having a margarita, and I met the girl who ran promotions, and her boyfriend was so convinced they were going to win 90 games. We have a bet. I said, dude, you're out of your mind. He goes, you want to bet? I go, yeah, you want to bet $500 for charity? So we bet $150 of tequila. And at that time, he goes, what's wrong with the Giants? I go, we suck. I go, I'm a season ticket holder. I'm very frustrated. He goes, yeah, but Buster's in charge. I go, what the hell does that mean? Buster's never done the job. And I go, the other thing is I'm sick and tired of all these young guys coming up that are busts. Harrison was a bust. And he goes, what do you think of Tristan Beck? And I go, that guy's always injured. I think he's in a sling. So I'm telling him, and the guy goes, all right, so we made a bet. We put it on the board. We signed a contract for $150, and I'm leaving. And the owner of Tommy's goes, hey, that was Tristan Beck right there. And I go, well, I told him the truth. And I go, who in the hell was the other bozo? And they go, oh, she's in charge of promotion. That's her boyfriend. And I said, well, when I win, tell that son of a bitch to give me $150 worth of tequila. I go, these guys are idiots. I don't know. It's like these people live in a dream world. It's almost like they're in a cult. They're in a cult. Oh, the Giants got Buster in charge. They're going to win 90. How are they going to win 90? We got a worse team than last year. So it's crazy.
Lou, something comes up in our chat quite a bit, actually, more than we'd like. People are, and sometimes I have to start with, I call a spade some nights, and the chat doesn't like it. That's screwed. I don't really care. My question to you then is, how much of a rope do you give Buster Posey? We've got too many people in our chat on Giant Sports Talk Live who say, oh, give him 2 years. Give him 3 years. I'm like, don't you hire in any profession the right man for the job and expect you to do the job? And not, well, I hope you do well in 3 years. I don't get it. I don't get it. What is this? He's a name.
Yeah, that's it. He's a guinea pig. He's a guinea pig. And I think the people of the ownership said, hey, he probably owns 2% of the team. They said, listen, give us 3 years. We'll give you an additional 3%. So you own 5% of the team. It's like his first hire. I'm not going to say the Chapman deal because, he did okay, but that he wasn't in position yet. But why do you sign a guy as a general manager that worked under Farhan and you hated Farhan and you fired him? That's almost like saying, and the other thing too is, being a CEO, Larry Baer has done nothing since he got caught having the affair. He's done nothing. This guy was good 25, 30 years ago. It's almost about, you got to cut ties. I think the Giants need a fresh start with everybody. That's
Speaking of Larry Bear.
we got a super chat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bill
there you
M.
go.
Thanks
There you
for the
go.
donation, Bill. Could any org still have Larry Bear around? F you. Yeah.
There you go.
Good timing, Lou. Good segue. Thanks, Bill. This is pretty bad when you look at this situation and you look at the season tickets holders. I want to show you guys something that I received
good stuff.
here. This was a email I got from the Giants here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Can you guys see that?
Yep. You're good.
All right. I don't want to.
It's still trying to open up.
Move her
there you
name
go.
here. Okay, hold on. Where's? How come I can't move this thing? What am I not on it? All right, there we go. Okay.
There you go.
Hi, Dan. It was great connecting with you. They called me out of the blue. I took the call. It's like because I used to be a season ticket holder, canceled after the 22 season because I saw where this thing was going. I really did. Eric, you remember? I was like,
I remember.
I'm not going to renew because this team's not going to keep winning. Why? And then what really pissed me off is trying to sell my tickets, and the Giants are undercutting me with these $5 promotions, and I've got tickets that are $100 face value, and I'm trying to sell them before the game, and I'm cutting them down to $10, and I'm not even getting a taker. It's like, oh my goodness. So I lost a lot of money as a season ticket holder in 22, and I made pretty good money in 21 because they were good, and you want to hold on to them. But when I saw what they were doing, so look at these plans. They're now offering where I sat on the club level. You can get a 20-game plan. You get a premium membership for $99.99. That gives you all games, I believe, club level access. And then you can do a club access for $49.99. That's a half a season. Then you get a pro membership, no club level access, $19.99. What is this, like Costco? I mean, club access, all these different promos, starter memberships. I mean, they're giving you packages, 10-game packages, 20-game packages. I'm like, why would I want to buy season tickets? I would rather just say, you know what? I will go to the games I want to go to, and I'll pay top price for the best tickets if that's what I want to do. And I'll pay for 5 games. But if I want to go to 50 games, let's say, out of 80, I'll just go pay the $5 seats. And you know what I do? I'll just move around because the seats are going to be empty. It's going to be like Candlestick, like you said, Lou. And you were there last year, every game, Glenn.
Close.
You know how
close. Yeah.
I mean, you know what you can do once the season starts. I mean, the game starts. It's the 3rd, 4th inning. They lax up. The ushers are like, you walk into the section. In the beginning of the game, they're looking at your tickets, and you can't go down there. But once the game's going, you just sit. And you know what? There's really not a lot of bad seats in the house. It's
where we sat last year, Eric, when we went?
Yeah.
I like there. It's between home plate and third base and the top first row, second row of the top tier. I get to see the whole play. I don't like being down too low. No offense to, and plus those are more, you know what? I don't like them there, and they're more expensive. I like what I got up top.
If you're in the first row, the third.
I don't like sitting angles where I can't see. Like I wouldn't want to sit. I couldn't do the bleachers. I'm like,
yeah, I think it was 321 we sat in, right? Isn't that what it was? I think it was 321.
Hey, that's my section, 221. No.
Oh yeah,
I was 220, 223. I was even with third base.
A little bit over. Okay, yeah.
I was even with the third base bag, and I was in the aisle seat of the second to last row. So behind me was the glass, the club level, the pizza, the restrooms, everything. I could, between innings, I could run to the restroom, come back, not even miss a pitch.
Not miss nothing.
Yeah.
Real quick, going back to Buster Posey. Here's the thing. And I get what you guys are saying, both Glenn and Lou. Do you think it would have been better for him just to be a manager and bring in an actual bona fide general manager, president of baseball operations? Set him up for success. Look, the guy played the game, right? He sat behind the dish. We all know he's one of the greatest catchers ever to play the game. Why not just have him be a damn manager rather than
where in Double-A?
No, a manager. You've been the big club. You could be a manager at a big club. Buster Posey, he would. I think he would.
Actually, I don't think he
succeed.
can. I don't think an owner can be a manager.
That's what it is because he's an owner.
Plus,
Never
whatever
mind.
happened to working your way
Never
up?
mind.
What is it? Again,
Yeah, you're good point,
the position he's in now. Why does everyone look at what he did and think, well,
Yes,
it's going
I
to
agree.
equate. It's
I
going to,
agree.
oh, they've put the day that was announced, people were putting him on a pedestal in our chat. And oh my God, it's the greatest thing the Giants have ever done. I go,
And I was excited.
He
No, don't get me wrong.
He hasn't done this before.
I'll tell you where I'm excited because we got rid of Farhan and you got someone who let's not I'm not going to analyze his mind, but the guy wants to win, right? Now, does he have the tools capable of being a successful president of baseball operations at this particular time? No, he does not. It's going to take time for him. That's why I was advocating maybe getting a more experienced GM. I know you got to be careful with that lateral move crap, right? Got to be careful with that. But come on. And Lou, you hit the nail on the head. Why the hell are you why are you promoting a guy that Farhan hired? It just doesn't. That part did not make sense. They could have gone with somebody. Hell, bring back Bobby or Brian Sabian as an advisor or something, because that
he waited 6
tell you
weeks
that-
and that was the big announcement after
Right.
6 weeks. Come on.
I'll tell you the mistake they made, and this is what I don't understand it. Buster Posey, they named him. He took over Pobo the day they fired Farhan. Why the hurry to do that? The good news was you just got rid of Farhan. You could have saved at least a week and brought in Buster if you were going to do that. But to do it, he looked ill prepared. They were asking him questions. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do I think what the Giants should have done is, because they named Buster the president of baseball operations, they could not get a general manager, a president of baseball operations, somebody who was a really good GM to come over, because it's a lateral move. So what they needed to do was, Buster did not even need to be president of baseball ops. He's a freaking owner. Mm-hmm. The president of baseball ops reports to Buster. That's, in an ownership group, everybody has a certain role. Okay, you're in charge of communications, this owner. This owner's in charge of finances. This owner's in charge of baseball operations. Okay, Buster should not have been the Pobo. He could have been over the Pobo and said, all he had to do is say, I'm bringing in a president, an experienced person to run the day-to-day operations, and he will report to me.
In other words, a Larry Baer. When Larry Baer used to have a little bit of more power before he got all mixed up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The face of the franchise, so to speak.
Buster, face of the franchise. He writes the end of the year letters to the season ticket holders. He's on the field. He's the public face of the Giants as far as, everything. But the president of baseball ops, whether that was Ned Colletti or Brian Sabian or somebody else, you had to find somebody that was experienced. But what they forced themselves to do, and they ended up getting Zach Menaeson, an assistant GM, someone who's never even been a GM. So you got two guys learning on the job. And this is why there's no trades. There's no creativity. It's just like, boom.
And another thing, guys, and hopefully you agree with this, Lou, I talked about this on the show. What is going on between the PR and either baseball operations and ownership? Because they're not communicating. You got Larry Baer going on 95.7 The Game talking about, don't worry about the Dodgers over there. No. And you got Buster Posey giving an interview saying basically the same thing. And on literally the same day, you signed Jake Lamb to a minor league contract. And you're just, it just doesn't, how can you sit there and make these statements saying, don't worry about our competition, who's, by the way, kicking our heads in, and then you go make a move like this. And what do you think that's going to do to the fan base when you're hearing people such as Larry Baer and Buster Posey saying these type of statements? Don't worry about what's going on down the road. And I get it. You still got to build your team, but then you're announcing Jake Lamb. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, someone that was good 12 years ago. It's just like you guys got to remember. Last year, 1 week before opening day, Rennell Brooks Moon, they let go because she just wanted a contract, and they said, no, we want to get somebody else. Rennell was actually a face and the voice of the Giants at Oracle.
That's fair. That's fair.
Very well known. People loved her, and they got rid of her because they were cheap. And, when you ask what happened, why did you get rid of her? Oh, well, she didn't want to come back. That's the biggest thing that I hate about some of these Giants, as I call them, people on the payroll. They lie so much. Farhan was like Pinocchio. Yes. He lied. Larry Bear lies. When they go on KBR, they ask worse questions to Giants executives than they did with Biden. They're not even softballs. It's on a tee for them. It's that bad. It's almost like they can't come up with the wrong answer. Larry Bear, what do you think of the team? Oh, I'm very excited this year. Oh, yeah. With Buster in charge, I'm seeing 95 wins. And then they don't come back and ask him, how can you see 95? We don't have as good a team. Same thing when Baggerly, Susan, it's always positive. And that's why KBR, they're such homers that they might not even be around. The rumor is this might be the last year the Giants are even on KBR. They're looking for something because KBR is losing their staff. They're so down. 95-7's kicking their ass. They lost the Warriors. They're just not making money. And I just think it's to the point now where, it's amazing last year. Nobody ever asked Farhan the tough questions. Nobody ever asked Larry. Everything's positive. If you saw, I think it was on Monday, me and Dan took a thing from KBR. They tried to come up with a starting lineup for the Giants. The guys on KBR.
Yeah, I saw that.
They had trouble.
Brutal. That was brutal.
They couldn't even do it. And with a straight face, they were saying, it's like, dude, admit this team is not that good. It's okay. It's okay if we're not that good. Just stop giving us such high expectations that aren't going to come true.
What's great? Hey, Dan, did you see the little clip with FP Santangelo at FanFest? The question he asked Buster?
I did not see that.
Do you want to see it? It's like
sure.
It's like 2 minutes. This is from Shauna Rubin's Twitter, the beat writer for the Chronicle. By the way, she was out there slinging a few arrows in her last article. I don't know if you guys read it in the Chronicle. But,
was this the recent FanFest? The one that just took place yesterday? Okay,
yes,
beautiful.
Correct. Let's take
yesterday or Saturday
yesterday.
Or yesterday. Okay, I got to see this.
So it starts off okay, but just listen.
Be ingrained in my brain is the first parade in 2010. And when we came around the corner, there was a bus, and I know he knows this, with a bunch of people on it, and I think they were all girls, and they had Posey, and they were on top of a Muni bus at the court. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
But is it okay for the president of baseball operations, who's a 3-time world champ, to talk about winning another World Series? Or is that something you kind of want to stay away from? And not to go backwards at all, but I feel like there's been a lot of talk about just getting into the playoffs lately. And I cringe every time I hear that, because there's 3 Tiffany trophies on the corner of 3rd and King Street from your work and your guys' work. And I just want to talk about winning championships again and having a parade on Market Street and having people on top of Muni buses and us all crying when we see the Giants and the confetti coming down. Is it all right for you to address that, or are you just more about the process?
I think why are we doing this if it's not about winning the championship? I guess maybe we should talk about it more. I
guess we should talk about it more.
Known, that it's known. That's why we all show up for this, is for a chance to win a championship. And look, you asked about process. Yes, it matters. We can't. I think it's great to have a vision and a goal of this is where we want to go, but also you can't let that distract you from the task of the day. So it's a combo, like a lot of things, right? It's a balancing act of this is where we want to go, but right now this is where the focus needs to be. You probably rehabbed as a player. I always think about guys that are rehabbing, and I had to rehab, and you have to flip a switch as a rehab player to where now it's okay, it's not getting my reps in the cage, or it's not doing blocking drills, but now it's about, how do I get my ankle to recover as best as I can so that I can get back? So it's a bunch of little decisions that everybody has to make for the greater good to get us to that championship.
That's good stuff. All right.
Come on.
Sounds
It's
lost.
just like a nothing burger.
Yeah. It started off great, right? Oh, yeah. I thought that was, I want World Series. And then all of a sudden he starts going into a soliloquy about rehab and doing and the process.
What he's basically saying, if you just cut out all the verbiage there, he just said,
the word salad.
why are we doing it without a championship? It's going to take us 3 or 4 years to get to that level.
Right.
That's what he was saying.
I don't
We're not
like that.
we're not really there right now.
It's just
we're not really going for it this year. It's
right.
We're really on rehab right now.
We're in rehab.
We're in rehab. We're just trying to figure out how can we get back to being where we can play again.
Hey, I gotta follow up with Lou. I asked him about how many years, like when do you start getting concerned about Buster Posey? And the reasoning for that,
I will give him this year and next year, and then that's it.
Yep.
I think
they only signed him. I think his deal is only for 3 years.
3, right?
I think after 2 years, I think he'll step away if he realizes it's a lot tougher than it is. It's a 24-hour job. If you remember, Buster retired because they adopted 2 babies, and he had 2 other kids. He's a family guy. He realizes that's why I think he's doing it for more ownership. And he does it. He gives it a shot, and then he leaves. But yeah, I think this year and next year, and that's it. The problem is next year there's only 2 good free agents, Vlad and Tucker. There's nobody else. And who knows?
This was the year
with Eldridge. It's and again, I don't understand. I know last year they went, and I think it goes back to some of our fans saying, "Oh, we're going to be better with Lee." How in the hell do we know Lee's going to be better? The guy played in Korea. He played 6 weeks. All of a sudden, he's an all-star? Come on, guys. It's the same thing like with Eldridge. Oh, he's got to be good because everyone said he's going to be good. No, we don't know until he comes up here. We don't know.
It's all about hope. It's all hope.
And then the other thing is, when you sign guys for 6 years, you got to have a first baseman. I don't understand, like Dan showed me an article today where a guy says a guy who could win MVP plays for the Giants. Do you guys want to know who they were talking about?
Oh, he could God. I saw this.
Are you talking about not MVP, but best player in the National League West?
Oh, best player in the National League. To me, that's MVP. Eric and Glenn, guess who they said could be this guy? You're not going to believe this,
Glenn. Hold. Are you sitting down? Listen to who they said.
If you told me Ramos, I wouldn't believe it, but at least it's got. You're setting us up for what? What? What could this be?
We'll give you a hint. He's a switch hitter. And he plays in the infield. He's a switch hitter.
Bailey?
Yeah. That's who they said. Bailey.
He's on my list. Okay, I asked you about, the whole dynamics of Posey and how I said I don't think when you hire somebody in that position, you hire him and you expect day one to get results, which I'm not seeing. In fact, I said to Eric the other night on the channel, I said, I'm still seeing a little bit of dumpster diving, which I don't like.
There is.
Yeah, I call it dead wood. It's like, I don't know how you guys felt. Why did they pick up Yaz? I don't know. Is he sleeping with somebody? Is someone sleeping with somebody? The guy. Why did we pick him up? He's been with us 7 years.
I've heard on somebody.
And he's gonna be our starting right fielder.
That's the issue I have. I think Yaz would be a fantastic bench player. Perfect bench player. Defensive replacement. You got a lead. You put him out there in right field to secure that lead, and you play Matos every single day in right field at this particular time because there is no damn right fielder out there to go get right now.
Yeah, and as Dan pointed out, if it wasn't for Lee getting injured, we would never heard of Ramos last year.
Nope.
We would never heard of him.
All right, so heading into this year, here's some of my notes that I just took while you guys were talking. Right half of the infield could arguably be the worst in the National League, in my opinion. The whole right side.
Talking about first base, second base, right?
First, second, and I throw in right field if you want to.
Fair.
First base. Let's get into first base. It could have the lowest RBI total in the National League. I don't know where the offense is coming from there.
Probably will have.
Yeah.
It's Gerald playing second. I mean, he's playing short. He's playing second. I mean, again, more to me, I call those gimmicks. You're moving guys around, just trying to fill a space. Why? Because you don't have a second baseman. So again, that fits into the right side of the infield. Then, if you look at the dynamics of the team, Jung-Hoo Lee, I think he could contribute in a big way. If you look back, not only last year, but back to his Korean days, he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, he was injury prone.
He's injured every season.
Good signing for $19 million.
Then you've got 8 freaking players, 8 guys who strike out at over a 20% clip. Need I say McRae at near like 43% or 45?
I think it's 26%. 26%.
Yeah,
And then we are about one injury, I always say, one injury away from our pitching staff till that blows up. So you tell me, where are the positives? Get me excited. Where are the positives heading into this year? I don't see any.
Adames, that's it, man. That's
Not even a Hawaiian shirt gets me excited. Nothing. Zip.
I think there's 3 potential promises or promising things to hope for. One is Adames. You nailed it, Eric.
Yep.
Getting to see Ramos hopefully come back and even improve on the year, and possibly the emergence of somebody else like a Matos that could come into play. But if they're going to platoon, and they already are, they're already saying Yaz is the right fielder, which I do not understand the thinking. To me, I thought, and I hear all the guys, Buster knows the ball better than you, Buster this, Buster this. Why is Yaz in right field? If you're going to rebuild this thing and you're going to not go out and sign a Santander or a Bregman or Alonso, then why are you playing Yaz over Matos? I don't even think I want to see a platoon. No. You know what? Yaz, you're going to be 35. You're not going to be here anywhere, even in this particular decade when we're good, if we're good. So we're not making you the starter. You're the 4th outfielder at best.
Yes.
You fill in when there's injuries. You come in for defensive replacement. You pinch hit in a situation where it might call for that. But you are a role player. You've never been a star. You're a 230 hitter. Why is he given the job? I don't understand the thinking of this. And I want to see Matos. You hit it. You said it, Glenn. 8 guys over 20%. Lee's the only guy that's not over 20%. He's about 8. Matos last year or for his career is 13 to 14%.
Right.
You need guys to make contact. You want to talk about why you don't score with runners in scoring position? Because guess what, guys? Hey, maybe the light goes up. When you don't hit the ball, they usually don't cross the plate.
Yeah, how about that?
But then you're calling Adames, Ramos, Matos. That can make a memory any given day at the ballpark. You go home and you feel fuzzy and warm all over.
Yeah.
But when one guy produces on any given day, it's team sport. You're not playing 500 baseball.
No, I get that.
They need 5 to 6
Glenn and
guys
Eric,
to produce daily.
Last year, the win total was 83.5.
Correct. For Vegas,
79.5. Yeah, it's 79.5.
It's
so
worse.
Even Vegas knows this team isn't as good as last year.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, San Diego's at almost 90, right? 89.5, something like that.
Yeah, one's 90 and the other one's 89.5.
So when I see people say, "Oh, the Giants, they could be in third place," they're not going to be in third place. They got 4th down.
Bay Area fans,
lockdown.
Bay Area fans are so lost, with their sports teams. Somebody in the chat said, "How can you be upset about the World Series?" The World Series was a different decade ago. The other thing I don't like is good example. The Chicago Cubs this year, they said, "Hey guys, we're going to cut payroll." They didn't cut payroll. My God, they're going to win the Central Division. They've added a future Hall of Famer in Tucker. You know, they made a great trade getting rid of Bellinger. They got, you know, a great, they're probably 10 games better than last year.
They got to close.
They're doing stuff and they got a future. You know, with us, I mean, here's the thing. You know, say Eldridge comes, but he's just an average player, like a Brandon Belt. Okay. Still a solid player, but they putting him up like he's, you know, almost going to be better than Buster. I mean, this guy's rep is like probably since Chili Davis, you know, back in, you know, in the early 80s. I've never heard of such a guy like this. First of all, he wasn't originally a first baseman. Okay. Second of all I keep hearing he's got to work on the defense. How can someone be this great with all these problems? And he's not even up to the majors. You know, so many people are great in the minors, but it's different when you're MLB, you know, when you watch TV, you know, it's like last year, you know, we talked a lot about, oh my God, these guys are great in AAA. Okay, great.
I'll tell you what,
they come
Lou,
to the minors and they're 216.
Lou, if he is Brandon Belt, which is a solid
comp
MLB player, occasional All-Star. I think Belt made 1 or 2 All-Star appearances. If he's Brandon Belt, then this team is buried for years because there is nothing behind him. Nothing. It will take years. This is why I proposed that they trade some of their stars like Webb while he's good. People say, why would you trade Webb? He's your best pitcher. Well, if you want to get something back and rebuild, by the time Webb, the Giants are ready to really compete, if Eldridge is all that, Webb's going to be 2-3 years older, and he's going to be at the end of his contract. And you're not going to get hardly anything for him, but you can get a ton for him now. Think about his value. It's right around 70 on the trade machine, which is pretty low compared to most teams. That's their best. That's the Giants' best. Other teams have guys like Tatis, 142. You know, a lot of Bobby Witt Jr., 200-300. I mean, some of these guys are worth so much. If you actually traded Webb and got somebody who was 2021 and comes up with Eldridge and they both hit and they both are good, now you have bookends and you can start to build something.
You got a foundation.
You have a foundation. Then you go out and add a free agent here and there. Imagine something like this. Bryce Eldridge. And let's say you get a Kobe Mayo or a Max Clark or a Walker Kessler. Not Kessler. I'm thinking of the basketball. The guy from the Twins, whatever is forgetting his Livings. I can't remember his last name. But anyway, he's a top 5 prospect in the game. So you go out and you get bookend players. Imagine Mayo playing third. Of course, you got Chapman there, but you can move Chapman if you can convince him, look, you're no longer needed here. We're going to, you know, you want to.
Yeah.
So you get Mayo and Eldridge on your corners, and now you have 2 guys that hit 40 home runs. And now you're all of a sudden, and you have Adames. He's a good foundation.
Steps.
Good foundation piece, right? And look, you can go out and get pitching. You've already talked. You still have Wisenhunt. You still have Ray. You still have Harrison. You still have Birdsong. You can find other pitchers, and you start to really build this thing. And
that's picking a lane. That's the thing, is you're picking a lane, but that's where it makes no sense why they wouldn't. Look, if you're going to go out there and spend, if you're going to get Willie Adames, if you're going to get Corbin Burns, and you got another free agent and you made a trade, it makes sense to hold on to Webb. But the way that they're going about this, it makes no sense. You're Glenn, you've said it. Dan, you've said it. You're just sitting there treading water. That's all you're doing.
I have 2 hopes for the Giants this year. One, as a Giants fan, is that they are clicking on all cylinders and they fool us all, and they make skaters look out to be a genius. And they are 10 games above 500 at the trade deadline, and they're anchored right in a good wild cards position. or two, they are the exact opposite. They are buried and done, because if they pull this crap where they're, we're 4 or 5 games out of the wild card, but we think we have the horses to get us there in the second half, and we're starting to click, and they do nothing. That is the worst place. We've seen that in 22 and 23 and 24.
Yes.
And if they had made trades, if they have traded Rodon, if they had traded some of the guys, look, I know you're a big Wilmer fan. I wanted him traded in the 23 season because he was having a great season. And it was like, you can get something for Wilmer because people want that. But now you let him value drop, and look, you're not going to get anything for Wilmer. You're not going to get anything for half of these guys because they don't have value. And you got to make a decision. And this is why I go back and forth between, okay, go get Alonso, go get Bregman. What are you doing? Either do something or or move it all. My hope is that Buster is smart enough and that he sees it and that he's really going to do something that no Giants team's ever done in a long time. And that's let him play it out in the first half, and it's not good. And he convinces guys like Chapman, Webb, whoever that's of value, that you start moving off of those pieces to actually bring in a haul and start saying, okay, this is a rebuild. This is how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he should know. He lived through it. He
did.
lived through the 17 through 20 crap.
Right.
I mean, he saw that he was part of the team. Belt was part of the team. Crawford was part of the team. They brought Pablo back. They were trying to recreate 2010, 12, and 14. And it's like the Warriors. It's done. Know when your time is done and move on.
Move on.
Because you can't – look, where's my Sharks hat? It's over there. I had a Sharks hat on earlier. The Sharks are making moves to be good and be a relative team for years to come, because they know now we lost. It's time to rebuild. We had our day. We made it to the Cup finals. We didn't get it done. We tried to hold on for a couple more years, and we were awful. Now let's get all these young kids and grow up together. Why did the Giants win 3 world championships? They grew up together. That infield was entirely homegrown, and they filled in with Pence for a nice trade. Scudero was in there 1 year. They added guys at the
Hunter
trade deadline, the left fielder. You added Huff at first base. The guy Cody Ross.
I mean, Angel Pagan.
You don't need 9 stars. You don't in baseball. You need about 5, and you need 5 solid players on the field that are contributing on a regular basis, and role players that fill in, like Glenn said earlier, with the 3 guys. If 3 guys have a good day here and there and it's not consistent, you're going nowhere. Mm-hmm. If you got to have 5 guys minimum that play every day, that are out there and are contributing, ideally 6, and then you fill in the roles. I mean, the Dodgers really don't even have 9 guys. They're gonna have guys that switch off in the outfield a little bit.
Yeah.
But I just say the Giants had pitching. They had Lincecum, Kane, and Mad Bum. I mean, look at what Mad Bum did in 2010. He was a freaking rookie, and he shut out in the world through a shutout.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, come on.
I think he's 21, right? He was only 21 years old.
21.
Yeah.
Where are those guys? That's the guys the Giants should be going after. Forget these Yaz's. I mean, I have nothing against Mike Yastrzemski. He's a great guy. I have nothing against Matt Chapman. Great guys, golden retriever. Look, I love golden retrievers. I love people who love dogs. He's got a good family. I like Matt Chapman personally. I like him as a ball player personally. I think he's a hell of a ball player when it comes to running the bases, being a clubhouse guy, being a great infielder, being a leader. But I don't like him when he comes to the plate with runners in scoring position. Is that okay to say? I just don't like him because I know what's going to happen about 90% of the time. And you shouldn't know 90% of the time. You should know, you should be able to say, hey, there's a 30% chance this guy, or 25 at least, knocks this guy in, but or does something good at the plate. But when I know that runners are in scoring position, I know, and it's not because I watched him last year. I've seen Matt Chapman's career. He's got 8 years in the big leagues, 1 season with 80 plus RBIs. For a guy that hits in the middle of the order, not acceptable. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
See, the San Jose Sharks made another deal yesterday, traded away 2 of their only good players. So they took about another 5 steps back yesterday. This is a team that is going to be bad for 4 or 5 more years. But they have a long-term plan. And the San Francisco Giants lack a plan. And I don't know if it's they don't make the move. The fan base does not like, nor do the Giants, it seems, they don't like the term rebuild. We'd rather just put Band-Aids on things. I told Eric it was like trying to stop a leaky faucet, keep putting a Band-Aid on it. It doesn't work. Just shit or get off the pot. Rebuild or go get us good players. It's got to be one of the two, right? They keep going. It's not rocket appliances. You do it one. You either rebuild or you get us good players. But no, you got to go and make these. Oh my God! And I don't like what's been done this offseason. You stunned the hell out of me when you said that Bailey could be an MVP. The guy can't hit. He hasn't proven he can hit.
Not yet. Nope.
Hey, Glenn, Giants baseball.
I'd trade him.
Like it.
Nothing like that. You're not kidding. Nothing like it.
What do you guys, Glenn, you just said either spend or rebuild.
Oh,
I mean, this is not the Kansas City Royals or the Tampa Bay Rays with a market that doesn't. This is a market that is the 5th largest market and the 5th revenue team in baseball for years and years. And they sold out for years and years, like 15, 16 straight years. That ballpark was sold out every night, 40,000+. And you're telling me that you don't have the money to go out and actually spend? The Giants should, in my opinion, this team should either have a 275 to 300 million payroll and pay the tax, or they should have about $112 million payroll. It should not be 200 and just because it's full of mid crap.
Right.
It's just stuffed with. I mean, look, Webb's an all-star. Ramos looks like he's an all-star. Adames is a potential all-star. I don't think Chapman makes an all-star team because he just doesn't hit to do it. But you got like 3 guys, okay? You got like 3 guys, Webb, Ramos, Adames maybe, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's your best players. Maybe Duvall comes back or Ryan Walker can pitch great and you can make it. But there's nothing there. So add more to it one way or the other. Why?
Right.
I don't understand what Buster said in that whole thing about, we're trying. Yeah, there's no reason to even play unless you're playing for a championship. And then he goes on to say, well, when you go through rehab, there's a process. You go through rehab. I mean, to bring up rehab is basically saying you don't have a team right now.
Right.
Or someone good is actually injured that we don't know about.
It's something. Using, as you said, Dan, using the analogy of rehab, that's saying you're not healthy. Is that what you're right? As a club, I'm not saying that someone's hurt, but as a club, as it's currently constructed, there's some weak spots, and he knows it. But
said, think about what he said about rehab. He said, "I tried to get my ankle back so that I could play again." So what he's basically saying is, I've got to try and get this team put back together again. That it can be a team that could do something good. And right now, he's basically admitting that it's not there. And so I don't understand the long-term range of it because Adames, I understand that piece because you don't have a shortstop, and you don't even have a shortstop in the organization. That's pretty sad. So I get that piece. He's 29. I don't get the 6 years for Chapman. I would have let him enter free agency, and I would have just said, okay, we'll offer you 4 years or whatever, but you're signaling Chapman and Adames that you're ready to win. To me, I was thinking, well, gosh, they jumped on this. They got Adames right out of the gate before anything happened, before the winter meetings.
I was like, wow, I didn't see that one coming.
Wow, they went and got their guy, so they're going to be aggressive. And I thought, and then it's just like nothing. And the next move is Justin Verlander.
Tease.
I'm starting to think that Lou may have a really good take in that maybe they offered Buster a more ownership if he just
deal?
Like, hey, you got 2%. We're going to give you 3, 4, 5% more of the club. Just you're the guy to be the fault. Just stand in the line.
You're the face. You're the face.
Yeah, you become the face. So everybody will understand and go easy on us for at least 2 years. And then in the third year, you can say, hey, we got things in place. We got our minor leaguer. We got Randy Wynn in place. We made this. Eldridge is here. We got other guys coming. We got, all this stuff's going. And it's like, I'm going to hand it over to the next guy or something. I don't know.
It's weird. It's hard to. It's
yeah. And then Eric. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Eric. Eric.
No, go for it,
what pissed me off is Dan did a thing 2 weeks ago. The Dodgers B team is better than our San Francisco Giants starters. That's embarrassing when a team's 14 through 26 player is better than us. Then you also got to remember the A's are gone. So we have the whole entire NorCal.
Right.
There's no reason why we have the money. The ballpark's paid. The place behind us is making money that we're being so cheap. It makes no sense. And the thing is, the ballpark is still a great ballpark, but it's getting old. They're trying to come up with new things. The garden didn't work, the organic garden that Larry Bear wanted. They haven't changed the ballpark. They haven't got players that fit the ballpark. People don't want to come here. It's not like, everything's going positive. It's just everything's going negative. San Francisco, the crime rate, it's going to take a while to get back where people want to come here. The ballpark, batters don't want to come. Well, if the batters don't want to come, get guys that slash, guys that can hit him gappers. I don't know why we don't do that. Or, as Dan said, just get 4 golden arms. Just get the 4 best pitchers, and then we're going to be in every game. But, we just don't do that. With the A's gone and everything paid, I know Susan, who I don't really think much, said, you know what? The Giants are going to be worth $1 billion. They're going to be so much money with them in the next 5 years because they have no competition. Well,
what do you mean $1 billion? You mean like 10 billion? Because they're worth
10 billion. Yeah,
almost. They're worth $4 billion right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be 10 billion. And the other thing too is the teams that are in our division all have plans. The Dodgers next year. We were talking about this, Dan. We're probably going to go after someone like Tucker, right?
Probably.
Why? Because Ohtani is going to be maybe 3 more years. He's going to be there for at least another 10 years. But their first baseman, he's only signed for 3 more years. So they're already thinking ahead. Okay, we're going to lose one of our big 3. We need to replace him. The Giants, we're just hoping to get a team to the second half of the trade deadline, which is horrible. You can't run a company like this. And the Giants right now aren't running a ball team. It's like they're running a company and they're being too safe. And it's embarrassing. I mean, last year when the Dodgers played and they had 90% of the bleachers all in blue and they took over, that should never have happened. I mean, it was so frustrating. You went there, they were selling Dodger hats because nobody was buying. So you go to a ball game in San Francisco, the bleachers were 75, maybe 80% Dodger fans, and they were selling Dodger merch. You know what? That would never happen at the Stick. The ballpark's getting old. We need change. We need changes all throughout the whole Giant system.
It's not like they're running a business. It's more like a thrift shop is what it's like. It's been a thrift shop
Yeah.
the past few years. When you
I
start,
see some comments
moves.
in the chat about the A's being, Sacramento.
You know what? They might be better than the Giants.
They could be, and they'll be probably more exciting up there because it'll be, it's only going to be 14,000, but it's going to be 14,000 people that are very into the game. It's going to feel like 30, 40,000 people probably because
those games are going to be incredible.
A packed stadium is invigorating to players.
Mm-hmm.
And a loud packed stadium is very invigorating. So you're going to get some excitement with the A's. There is a possibility that this thing with Vegas falls through and they end up building a nice stadium in Sacramento.
They could.
And that, as Senior did say, I saw that would pull from Giants fans. It would, because there's a lot of Giants fans up in the Sacramento area. I mean, the Giants have owned that area. This would be kind of karma to come back on the Giants in a way, because they blocked the A's from the San Jose market.
Right.
They said, no, you can't go. We own that market. And the Giants have owned Sacramento. Every fan up in the Sacramento area is probably more hardcore Giants fans than many parts of the Bay Area. Okay. Even though Sacramento is really not the Bay Area, it's part of NorCal. So if they build that and the A's are already here, what happens if Fisher sees this this vision and says, man, I could build a beautiful dome stadium, they probably put a dome stadium in there so they can retractable,
like
summer.
Arizona.
Yeah. And probably only be about a 40,000 seat arena stadium. And you would capture a ton of new A's fans that would pull from that otherwise would be Giants fans.
It's true.
What's the dimensions of that ballpark?
Oh, hold on. I'll find it.
Yeah, they're redoing it as we speak.
Size. Yeah.
They have new,
all they got to do is
grass.
put in the sod and the scoreboard. Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to remember that I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to have the A's play and our AAA affiliate. So that's why they had to put a new sod in back to back. So, you got to remember it's going to be very unique. It's going to be pretty special, but it's just something where, I think, Dan, you bring up a great point, because it was Larry Barra that said, no, we own the rights to San Jose. We own the rights. And now it could come back to haunt them, which would be classic.
Alex, you don't have to play on turf if you have a retractable roof. The sun, it's open in the day and closes at night. And yeah, there's no need to put artificial turf. Arizona doesn't have artificial turf.
The Raiders, what they do for UNLV, they use artificial turf, but they have regular grass, and they bring it in when the Raiders play. The NFL, if you notice, Allegiant Stadium is actually domed, but they play on real grass. So it is possible.
I think Sutter's pretty.
Come on.
I think the dimensions are pretty.
They're pretty decent.
Yeah, but they've been doing. I mean, they're redoing the whole ballpark. I don't know if you've seen that, Eric. If you can go online and they show you.
Yeah, I'm trying to look. Yeah, it's a mess right now, but it won't take long for them to get that back.
And the one thing too is Dan's talked about changing the stadium. I don't know, Eric and Glenn, if you guys have talked what the Dodgers are doing, where they're making it more of a friendly ballpark. They're spending almost $200 million. A lot of it. So it's a big difference. We're just happy what we have. So
they'll spend more on an upgrade than we will on players.
That's bad. Oh man. That's funny.
Center field is Sutter is 403. Right field is 325 down the line and 330 to left. I don't see what the power alleys are. Probably 375 to 385 is my guess.
Oh my gosh, come on. I hate doing this.
Let's see. 14.
And I've been so disenchanted with this team. I am the epitome of negativity, and I get so upset because it seems like it's, the old Roadrunner commercial. The wheels are spinning. They ain't going nowhere. And I often say to Eric and the guys over in our chat that it seems like I always call the Giants a chihuahua because they're always nipping at your heels. So when it comes to a negotiation, they're always in with the big dogs. And they come in with an offer. Well, we offered exactly what. Can they not for once go out and get their man? As a ball club, a business, however, whatever you want to call it, you go out, you sit in the meeting and go, here's the guy we need to get. If I'm the owner, I say, Lou, what will it take to get that guy? I want him on that ball club next year. I want that guy. Not, well, we can offer what the other teams are offering. What are we doing? It seems like such a waste of time. We never go in and pack a punch.
It's all about being cheap and being safe.
I mean, Jesus. They act like poodles. They're poodles. I want a pit bull. I want to go in there and get the job done.
You know, it's interesting because if you listen to us the last hour and a half, a lot of people listen to this and they'll hear us afterwards. They'll say, oh, those four guys are really negative. They're not real Giants fans. Those guys are just awful. You know, look, we're bringing it to you real, guys. If you want to go listen to the homers out there and everybody talk about how sunny it is and blue skies at the Giants, look, there's plenty of guys and we don't have to even name them. You know who they are. They're all out there talking about the Giants being, hey, it's a new season. You know, this looks like Larry Bear on KMBR. This looks like a 95-win team. I mean, who are you kidding?
If he thinks it's a 95-win team, I wouldn't want him running my business.
Yeah. So you're listening to four passionate Giants fans who want to keep it real and are just telling you it's called the hot corner for a reason, guys. We don't
the hot corner.
We don't mince words here. Okay. We're not going to sit here and tell you that this team looks like a playoff team and everything's rosy. Look, been watching baseball myself. I'm 63, I'll be 64. I started watching baseball in 1968 as a 7-year-old kid. And I watched Bobby Bonds, Barry's dad, hit a home run his first game against the Dodgers on Channel 2. I was
Channel 2, KTVU.
Yeah. And you know what? I've been watching baseball a long time. This team is not built right to win. You don't have 8 of your 9 players with high strikeout rates. It's just, you can't have it. Look at the Diamondbacks last year. Look at the Padres and the Dodgers. Several of their players had K rates 15%, right around there. Some as high as 18. Only a couple of them that had K rates over 20, but those were big time power hitters. Okay. You expect your big time power hitters to have a K rate of 25%. That's acceptable. What you can't have is the entire team with that.
Exactly.
Right.
And so this is what we're trying to bring to you. Nobody talks about this that I hear. All as I read is comments like, oh, hey, pretty good. And Buster's really doing this and Buster's doing that. You know what? I'm going to give Buster the benefit of the doubt. This is his first year. I don't have high expectations. None of us do. So we're not going to be disappointed when they finish 500 or worse. Okay. I fully expect it. If they surprise me, guess what? I'm wrong. Been wrong before, be wrong again. Don't mind being wrong if the Giants are successful. But I'm certainly not going to come on here and ruin my credibility or any of these other guys and tell you that we know baseball and the Giants are going to win 90+ games.
Baseball's statistically driven, and if you just sit down and look at the numbers, the numbers don't jive. They don't add up. This is not a winning ball club, man.
Yeah.
All right.
This is not a winning ball club. The strikeout rate, and like I said earlier, how many RBIs do you guys think we're going to get out of that first base position?
Not many.
50?
61.
I was going to say 45.
I'm going to go high and say 61.
So
61.
an average of around 50. And and that's winning baseball. What are we doing? I get so pissed off. I get more pissed off with the guys who usually it's the people who come at me and they think we're idiots, but then they say oh my God, we're going to win 95 games. And oh my God, this is going to be the best season ever. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Are you on what are you? Oh my God. Like, if you want to kid yourself, keep buying those tickets, keep supporting the club as it is. Because the more you support this product, there's no need to get better. That's why, in a way, if they lose season tickets, lose attendance, then finally ownership is going to say, what the hell's going on? Where's the money supposed to be coming in? How come we're not selling tickets? Well, because the product sucks. I know you guys don't like hearing it. I'm going to be going to the WNBA. I love basketball. They're sold out. They are sold out.
I gotta go.
They're sold out. So to say you got no competition, they're playing in the same season as the ball club, and they are sold out. So how many did you say they lost in season tickets, Lou, going into this year?
Oh.
They're down below 7. I mean,
meanwhile,
Glenn,
a women's basketball team who didn't even have a player on the roster, they didn't even draft their team yet, sold out.
Warrior fans are delusional too. It's like you're probably one of the I don't know if you've seen the great ratings for Unrivaled, which is a 3-on-3 women's basketball league.
But that's not a league.
0.005.
Yeah, that's a
0.005. They're losing money, and that's 3-on-3.
And
that's women's basketball.
I want to see this with Giants fans. If the Giants suck again, and it comes to the trade deadline, and they don't do anything to actually tear it down and build for next year and years to come, I want to see what the A's fans did last year in the 5th inning of whatever game it was, where they all chanted, sell the team. Sell the team. That's what Giants fans need to get to. If they have a poor year and they don't do anything but play it cautious, people should be going nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I said I'm kind of go back to what you said earlier, talking about the Giants. You know, you're being the 5th richest team. I mean, last year during the damn broadcast, I know I talk about this all the time. You're advertising Mission Rock during a broadcast. Hey, look at the fine work we're doing over there across the cove during a game, both on KMBR and on NBC Sports Bay Area. Come on. You got all these big high rises going up, and you're going to tell me you can't spend some money? Get out of here. It flies in the face of just lunacy. They
didn't even call a pitch that inning. I watched that game. They didn't even call a fly ball. It's 1 out, and they went back to it was Larry Bear on that game, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and then he finishes off, and they're like, "Well, thanks for coming in. Yeah, I got to head over to KMBR's booth now." So he did it again the next inning.
Yeah,
or the next half. And so he spent an entire inning talking about. I thought we'd finished with the Mission Rock talk.
It's not even a fan experience thing. It's more for businesses and people who live there, right?
It's all about making money for them. That's all.
But I mean, it's not like you can go out there and there's a little park there, right? A little bit of a park or something, but it's not like a lot to do for the fans, is there?
It's across the bridge, but it's being mocked up as, it's a big fan experience.
That's not a fan experience.
I live 2 blocks away. I've never been over there.
It's not a fan experience. I said this, Dan, on your show. You know what the fan experience was? Parking lot A.
Yeah.
Parking lot A was a better experience than what the hell they got going over there in Mission Rock. It's commercial property and condos. How does that have anything to do with baseball?
Yeah.
Just because you got freaking Willie McCovey sitting out there with a statue doesn't mean it's a fan experience.
Jeez.
It's stupid. I mean, Lou, you've talked about the Chicago Cubs. Look what they got over there in Wrigleyville. They got the Cardinals. They got fan experience. The Boston Red Sox, they got fan experience. I think the Mets are getting ready. I think you told me about that, Dan. The Mets are getting ready to have a fan experience. There's no fan experience at Mission Rock. And don't go out there and say that's what it is, because you're lying. And I hate that shit.
The only experience is 40 guys selling bacon on hot dogs up when you leave the ballpark. That's the only experience there is.
Oh, those are
the
good,
Giants
those are good hot dogs.
The Giants are trying to sell it inside. It's not as good.
No,
You know, and then
give me the
Glenn-
give me the dog at the right out there when you walk
Yeah.
out there toward the Embarcadero. Give me that dog right out there with
Yep.
put some
I
extra
mean, hey,
onions on it.
I appreciate it. Cash only. Glenn, the best thing I do with Eric and Dan is I always bet the Giants under, and it's made me a lot of money. You know, just don't worry about it. They're not going to be 500, and it makes every time they lose, when we do a post-game show, it makes it that much more sweeter because everyone's upset, and it's like, I told you guys. I told you that.
Well,
I told you that.
who's the king, Eric? When I used to bet, I dabbled. Geez, I went for what, Eric? 3 weeks, never had a pick wrong.
Yeah, you did well in the post.
I picked everything. I made about $4,000 in the postseason. I picked over-unders and I picked winners, and everybody's like, oh my God, now you're picking the Dodgers to lose. And sure enough, you get lucky, right? So I knew when to quit, got out, made a little coin, went to Mexico. I'll pay.
There you go.
There you go.
I did,
All right,
I
guys.
did my update from Mexico. That was a shit show. Trying to do the show, and it was 110 degrees. And the only place they could find us, they had like 12, 15 lights.
Yeah.
It was like hotter than any
bad.
studio, but we had a whole lot of fun. But guys, I don't know what. The only thing so far I've heard is Dan say that you're going to watch out for Adames and Ramos and Matos.
Maybe Matos.
Where's the excitement? Well, I keep thinking, all right, maybe somebody's just got to slap me and get me back in the mood, get back in reality. But I think we are living in reality. You can't live in a false reality. I think
I'll
what you
tell
see
you
is
what would
what
be
you get.
exciting. What would be really exciting for this team is if somehow it worked out where I don't know whether there's I don't like to see injuries, but somehow where Matos is playing every day, Ramos and Luciano somehow, and we see Luciano reach his potential, and it's like, okay, maybe we've got something here. Maybe you can make Luciano a DH or a first baseman or whatever. He becomes an outfielder, and just they've got to find out what these guys can do. They've got to find out. And
But they don't pick the lane with those guys. Dan, they don't pick the lane with those guys either. Even last year in September, Eric and I talked about how they had arguably the toughest September schedule in all of Major League Baseball, if you combine both leagues. So we had come to the opinion that, all right, September 1st, play the young guys. Win, lose, no matter how bad you are, this is your window of opportunity. Play Matos and Luciano. Freaking Luciano was in, he was out, he was in. Then Fitzgerald made him look bad in a play, and then he was out pretty much permanently.
Yeah.
And I think there's just been, is it safe to say this team always comes up short on missed opportunities at every level? They didn't trade Snell, missed opportunity. Don't play the young guys when they should be playing the young guys. With nothing to lose, missed opportunity.
Yep.
Don't draft well. Obviously, missed opportunities. They don't trade at all. Missed opportunities. They just don't live on the edge. They're fearful.
Yep.
Risk averse.
They're like this dog. They're like this dog behind me. Very fearful.
It's a timid organization.
Hey guys, this is a fantastic first episode of the Hot Corner, man. This is going to be fun. We're going to be doing this every Sunday, guys. Even during pre or post games. This is going to be fun.
Hey, Eric, don't forget to remind everybody at home that when we appear on the show, Dan mentioned his off the top. Don't forget, we have 4 solid sponsors. And our featured sponsor, John and Crew, they signed up for the year, supported, got us, I keep telling the guys, Dan, on our channel, they don't realize you got to pay the StreamYard. You got to pay the internet. You got to pay the X fee every month. And I'm like, John, how about the show? He goes, oh, I'm a big Giants fan, so I'll support the show. And I said, John, do you watch the show? Sometimes. But anyway, he's a proud sponsor. He keeps signing the checks. Eric, let's tell him all about our number one sponsor, BetterCreditCards.com.
What can I say that I haven't already said about BetterCreditCards.com? It's a website. You go there to get a better credit card. Okay, that's really probably all I need to say for most of you, but I still have time left, so how about this? At BetterCreditCards.com, we have different kinds of credit cards, some with better points and perks, some designed to help you build your credit. Whatever stage of life you happen to be in, we want to help. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
That is
There you
right.
go.
And of course, Lefties in Burlingame, they get all your favorite merchandise from the Warriors, the Sharks. Who else? The Warriors, the Sharks, 49ers, the Valkyries, and the Giants. They get it all. Lots of great Wilmer Flores autograph stuff, boys.
Here we go.
Genesis Gold, IRA.com, and Signatures for Soldiers. Tim has been reaching out to me. He wants to come on the show one night, Eric. So let's get that lined up.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
to our sponsors, and thanks to Dan's for all the support he gets.
All right, we got, and actually, I forgot to give this one more. Better up there at the top right-hand corner, BETER, Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of NorCal Sports Network. Download the link in the description or download the app on your phone and put in the app and put in the promo code NCSN for a deposit match of up to $250. It's pretty fun to do. You get to make picks and you can triple your winnings, all kinds of things. And guess what? You put in $100, they give you 100. You put in 200, they give you 200, all the way up to 250. So Better, BETR.
That's pretty good, Eric? That's pretty
Not too
good.
bad.
It's like, go all in. Your first bet's free.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you got all the props with the Super Bowl this week. All the props.
Yeah.
Oh, all the props. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, hey, this is the week to do it. If you feel like if you can lose, hey, let's say it's $100, you want, you feel like you can lose 100, put the 100 on. You got another 100 to lose. You might get it back. That's the cool thing. It's free money. I put in 100. I could have put 250 in, but I don't do a ton of it, so I just went, $100. I've already lost 20.
And when's your new sponsor coming? Dan, when's your new sponsor coming? Everybody's asking in the chat.
The new sponsor?
Pig in a pickle.
Oh, Pig in a Pickle, huh?
There's another place. Another place I haven't ventured to. Don't we have to go over like the Bay Bridge,
East
Oakland?
Bay, right? North Bay, East
There's
Bay.
one in Corte Madera and one in, where's the other one?
Emeryville.
Emeryville.
Yeah, I don't go over there.
Emeryville,
I
yeah.
say,
Corte Madera,
Emeryville's not my
Yeah, that's
not
not
my
the
thing.
place you probably want to hang around. Emeryville.
Not my thing.
I hear you.
Oh
right,
man!
we
Hey,
get out of
great
here,
show,
guys.
guys. Great
Yep.
show. Good. We're doing this. We're on both channels here. So between, I don't know how many the number you're looking at. I see 376 up there on the screen.
Yeah, it's all pretty good, man.
And that's
Yeah.
all related to both channels and
Correct.
watching on X as well. So appreciate it, guys. We'll be back here next Sunday night at 8:00. And also, we'll both probably be going live tomorrow on our channels. I would
Yeah.
assume you guys are going at 8:30, whatever time you guys go.
Right around there. Yep.
Yeah, and we'll be going at 7:45. And who knows what the heck we're going to talk about. We'll pull something out of our you-know-what.
Ain't that
I mean,
the damn truth?
I don't know
I
how
mean-
we do it every night of the week. It's it's a good thing we got now, Eric. Oh my God. I get the guys fired up. 5 minutes in, I'm yelling at somebody for some shit.
All right, what do we got to close? We're going to use some. We talked about Ramos. You want to close with Ramos tonight?
Hey,
Yeah,
before you go, have we all come to some sort of agreement in tonight's show? The moral of the show that the Giants suck at this point.
Yeah.
It hadn't started yet, but it's looking bleak. Very
It's
bleak.
looking
All right,
bleak.
I didn't want to go home tonight and think, geez, maybe I'm the lone wolf here, and maybe they think I'm nuts because maybe I'm too negative, but just call it as I see it. Most people don't like it, but I'll argue with them. I mean, and that's one thing when they come into our chat. I'm sure you appreciate it, Lou, Dan, whoever your guests are on any given night. When people come into our chat, the one thing I ask is, if you're going to come at me or Eric or a conversation, have some back it up. Eric, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, well, why? Well, because he doesn't. Well, why? Like, our pitching staff is going to be one of the best. Oh, why? For some reason, they either don't want to or they don't know how to back up those statements.
It's
so
all
90 wins. Every time I say 90 wins, back that up. They have no comeback. They just sign out. They're gone. So I'm starting to think that I'm on to something. This is not going to be a positive year.
All right, guys, let's get out of here. I'll play some Rumble. I also got an outro. It's going to be the same as the intro, except I just changed it up at the end.
Cool.
All right.
How often are we doing this?
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday with these bozos. Oh, well.
And guys,
Couldn't
I will
tell
not
me
be
the
here next Sunday as I'm going to be in New Orleans for the Super
wait a
Bowl
sec.
for work.
Super Bowl week
But it is
next
Super
week.
Bowl
Are we
Sunday
even
next
going
week.
on
Yeah,
late,
yeah.
or what are we doing?
Yeah, maybe.
We'll skip next Sunday night.
We'll skip next Sunday. Skip
Yeah.
next Sunday.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I
Have a good
forgot
trip,
about
Lou.
that.
Lou, going
yeah,
down
you-
to the Super Bowl.
Going down.
Awesome.
Nice. All right.
Lou is
Hey,
scouting for CFL talent next week. And Dan, thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, no, we're all on together. We're on both channels. So good.
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
Good work. Good
Nice
work
to meet you,
together.
Glenn. Good to see Eric.
you bet, Lou. Hey, Lou,
Okay.
safe travels to New Orleans, man.
I will. Thanks, bud.
Let's get out of
Yeah,
here.
no beignet all over your face.
Yeah,
Like
right.
Larry.
I know that story. I know that
And
story.
get your
All
double down discount. It better before you go. Get your double down discount.
right, let's get out of here.
See you, bye.
Woo!